is one of the two Onset Bay Islands. This is called Wickett's Island. It's named after Wampanoag Indian chief and caretaker of the island, Chief Jabez Wickett. Not much more is known about him other than he fought in the French and Indian War. But tribal legend says he's buried somewhere on that island. And if that were true, he'd be buried in the opposite side from us now, on the east side towards the rising sun. Wampanoag means people of the dawn or the people of the east. His remains have never been located. In a moment I'll show you why. But notice there's an old stone pier. And up until very recently there was a set of stairs leading to the top. That's because up until 4 years ago, the island was always privately owned. Red nuns on the left, green cans on the right. Reversed, of course, from re-entering the harbor, hence the old nautical term, red right returning, for 3 hours of boating. And there is a mayor of Onset Island. The mayor of Onset Island, it turns out, is a 20-pound fat black male cat named Pa that has adopted my friend Barry. No one knows how Pa got out to the island. It's stowed away evidently in someone's boat, and everybody feeds it. The Cape Cod Canal was originally privately owned, built, and operated by a man named August Perry Belmont. Belmont dug his canal between 1909 and 1914. This was a business of Belmont's. It turned out to be a financial disaster. The reason why it failed as a business was this. As a private had been equal, and whose bloodline is still in a refined thoroughbred today, you may recognize the name. The horse was called Man of War. All these small floats out here with the sticks, all lobster traps, different colored floats, different owners. As we're approaching number 21 canal marker here, a little tower, make note of the osprey nest on the top. It's at least the 5th year in a row the mother and father have chosen that location to raise their young. There's half a dozen chicks in the nest, and while the chicks are still with mother and father, it'll mate for life. We're not willing to pay Belmont good money to come through this canal and wreck, which many of them did. Everybody waves to you on the water. Hi, hi. These are the same people, keep in mind, that will run you off the road at Route 128 in Boston. On the right is what's called Grey Gables. Grey Gables is one of the 9 villages here in the town of Bourne. But Grey Gable gets its name from this next large house you see on the right, flying the American flag. Grey Gables is a summer White House about 22nd and 24th presidents. That's President Grover Cleveland's home. In 1890, President Cleveland bought that home. Tudor Haven renamed it Grey Gables. He maintained a solid. Have you ever had a Baby Ruth candy bar? It was not named for Babe Ruth, the baseball player, as everybody believes. It was named for Ruth Cleveland, the president's daughter, the first child ever born in the White House, a national sensation at the time. On the left, the Massachusetts Maritime Academy, founded in 1891, the nation's oldest continuously operated merchant marine academy, arguably the best. Tied up at the state pier, their 545-foot training ship, the Kennedy. Cadets spend 6 weeks a year at sea training on her. Also, the smaller training vessel, the Ranger, used to training cadets small vessel handling and coastal navigation. The flagpole you see on the pier behind the tugboat comes from the foremast of the USS Constitution, Old Ironsides. The world's oldest commissioned warship, belongs to our U.S. Navy at the Charlestown Navy Yard in Boston. Fabulous school, higher rating than the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. 1,700 cadets enrolled. Tuition is relatively inexpensive. It's owned by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Some of the degrees the cadets receive here are Bachelor of Science degrees in Marine Transportation, Marine Engineer Canal. This canal belongs in the responsibilities of the United States Army. And this is the famous Cape Cod Canal Railroad Bridge. When it was built, and the record stood for decades, the largest vertical lift bridge in the entire world. The center span you see moves vertically up and down. When raised, 135 feet above mean high water. When lowered, only 7 feet of clearance between it and the water surface. When that occurs, all vessel traffic stops. That center span weighs 4.4 million pounds, attached by 16 cables on each side, the counterweights on each tower. Each counterweight, 2.2 million pounds, perfectly balancing the bridge. It takes only 2.5 minutes to raise or lower the bridge, and believe it or not, the bridge is used 3 to 5 times a day, every single day of the year. Very, very busy rail line. Balance is so critical on that bridge as an example. When it's repainted periodically, it must be scraped down to bare metal. The painting over the old paint will throw off the balance. And we're now in the land cut of the canal. It's 540 feet wide compared to Belmont's 100-foot canal. The stonework you see along the banks is called riprap, quarry granite, laid into the bank, stops erosion caused by the swift current and the wash of vessels in the waterway. And as a precaution to oversee canal operations, the Army maintains vehicle patrols. Swimming and scuba diving, absolutely forbidden. It's a death wish. Most likely you're going to drown in this water. Horse and buggy traffic, the occasional car, and the electric trolley line that I spoke about from Onset also ran across that bridge down to Monument Beach and Bourne. And in front of us is the Bourne Bridge, shorter than the Sagamore Bridge, but the span that crosses over the waterway is identical to both bridges. That bridge is nearly a half a mile long, and is longer for a reason. On the left is the beginning of the Bourne Scenic Park, a campground operated by the Bourne Recreation Department on 80 acres of land leased by the U.S. Army to the town of Bourne. There's over 500 campsites in there, and if you don't have an RV or a tent, you can rent a fully equipped cabin in there as well. But make a reservation early because they're always full. Considered the best campsite on Cape Cod. To keep the cost down, the Army gives the town of Bourne an exceptional deal on the lease. $1 a year is all the Army charges, just enough to make it contractually legal. Let's talk about World War II for a minute. Because of the strategic nature of this canal and its proximity to a large Army base at the time, Camp Edwards, over to our right on Cape Cod, the safety of this canal during World War I and World War II was very much a concern of the government. During the war years, you would have seen Army patrols on the land, naval patrols in the water. There were gun emplacements along the entire length of the canal. Machine guns, anti-aircraft guns. Each end of the canal had heavy artillery. Coastal shore batteries were installed for defense. Luckily, the canal never did come under attack. You used to be able to go to the herring room with a bucket and net. This area has been closed for 19 straight years by the Department of Fisheries, getting the population increased. The only ones still allowed to take herring are members of the Wampanoag tribe. And rightfully so, guys, because this right here is Bournedale. Originally a Wampanoag Indian village, first visited by Europeans Thomas Tupper and Richard Bourne, who were missionaries that came here to preach to the Indians. And in 1916, that 1 year only, the only ferry service